Hello everyone. Hope you guys can hear me okay. Let me know when you get on. Actually, let me check over here. I'll give you guys a sec to say hey. Let's just see what's going on in here. All right, hello, are you with me? Someone was, hey Geordie. Okay, I just want to make sure that we've got sound. So, hey Car, hey Dad. All right, let's see. All right, well that's good. We've got some love hearts. Okay, cool. Love hearts usually means, let's see. Yes, awesome. All right, good afternoon. We have coffee, we're home, and I just really wanted to chat with you guys and say hey first and foremost, and just kind of update you on thank you, Geordie. I just shut down the browser because I got that I could see that. So I think it's really important that we as people, as humans, really can understand how much life kind of mirrors business, or how it can mirror business. So and why it's important to get out of your own way and out of your own comfort zone and stuff like that. So this weekend has been a roller derby weekend. Hey Joe. Now, for those of you that aren't familiar with roller derby, it involves having usually 5 people on the track on one team and 5 people on the track on the other team. And the object of the game is to have our little whippet person, our jammer, going around trying to score points. And you score a point every time you pass someone. So let me find a piece of paper, because I think this is something that is kind of sort of interesting, I think, and somewhat kind of important to understand if we're talking about the derbs. So we've got our track. We've got people starting here. So that's our roller derby track. All right. And what happens, like this is kind of like the start line here. And we've got 4 people. 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got a red team and we've got a blue team. Now, this is not how they would be lined up, but you'll kind of get the point. So we've got red and blue. And the red and the blue people behind here, they're called the jammers, and they've got to try and get past. So the blue people have to try and get past the red people, and the red person has to try and get past the blue people. So you go around and around and around until the person who's in front basically says stop, or until 2 minutes is up, whichever comes first. So the job of these people in here is to stop that happening. So on Saturday, I was it was a low contact game. So roller derby, if you haven't seen it, if you haven't seen the movie like Whip It or anything like that, there's a lot of kind of pushing up against each other and pushing and shoving, and there's like some hits and you can get your shoulder into people and, you know, all of this kind of stuff. On Saturday, it was low contact. So it wasn't, we weren't wanting high speed. We weren't wanting people kind of like smashing everybody else or anything like that. The other games that were played were, but this particular game on Saturday was not. So I skated on Saturday. I had the most fun ever. It was like all of my skating skills, all of the training kind of came in, and it was just like, yeah, this is really great. You know, I feel like I've got this. And I think there are a lot of days in business where things can feel kind of easy, right? It can feel almost like we're in flow. It can feel like it's just like everything that we've been training for, everything that we've been working towards is just kind of falling into place, right? And that was Saturday. I was on top of the freaking world. On Friday, on the drive down, which is just FYI, like 6.5 hours in the car with 2 children, one who's 12 and one who's 10, and Dom, like we had a 6.5 hours. It's a really long time in the car. And I've downloaded like out of my brain into my, I was looking for my phone, I'm talking like, into my phone, like the next program that I'm going to be releasing this week to you guys, which is just so exciting. Like I can't even tell you, I am so excited about this program. It's like a culmination of everything, essentially about, you know, how you can create the it factor, like be media ready, like this kind of thing. So it's awesome. But anyway, so you know how you have those days, some days like in business where you're flying high, you're on top of the world. And I was awarded whatever you want to call it, the MVP on Saturday for our game. So I was just like, yeah, this is cool. I'm really excited and also really scared for tomorrow because Sunday was a high contact game. So on Sunday, it was the first full contact game that I've played in, oh golly, like years and years. I'm just sharing this, hang on, with all of the news from the weekend and upcoming news. Okay, sorry guys, one sec. Okay, and upcoming news. Oh my gosh, I can't spell. That's a bit awkward, isn't it? Going live with all the news from the weekend and upcoming news for the week. Oh gosh, I sound like a news presenter. Going live with all the news from the weekend and upcoming news for the week. Going live right now. So let's click on post. Okay, great. Sorry, I digressed just for a moment. I wanted to get that shared across. So we had the roller derby. I had the download on the way down. And what I think is really interesting about that is that I was out of my own environment. There was nothing. I was actually not working on Friday. So there was no, in the sense, there was no pressure to have to create. There was no pressure to get a blog out. There was no pressure like for anything at all. So it was just kind of like a down day, travel day. Sorry, not Friday. I'm sorry, on Saturday. Get down, do the thing that needed to be done. So we've got down there and straight into the derb. So straight into roller derby for that night, which was really fun. And then, so in the car on the way through, it's just because there was no, like I was saying, there was no pressure, there was no nothing. It was just really easy. And that's kind of how the Saturday game felt as well. There was no pressure. It wasn't full on. So we come into Sunday and I'd been watching, and listen for the similarities to business. I'd been watching some of the other teams play and watching the skill level of some of the other teams play, and they were freaking killing it. Like they were absolutely killing it. There were some people that were like, okay. But then like for the majority, it was just like, wow, like I'm in awe of these people. And the purpose of me playing, or part of the purpose of me playing on Sunday was to, hey Leanne, was to also be essentially assessed as being competition ready. So the game that I had to play in was it's called a potluck game, and there were men and women in there. So usually over like the games that I would normally play, it's primarily, it's women. And this particular game that I was playing with was a men and ladies game. So I don't know if you guys, like, I'm little, right? You may have seen me in photos next to like even Sonia, who I did not think expected to be quite so tall actually. Like I'm a little human. I am not a big human being, either in height or in stature. My energy is massive, but you know, in terms of my physicality, I'm a little person. So you can kind of imagine, I hope you can imagine, I got thrown in on the game yesterday, and I was one of the people back here, right? So I'm like one of the people here, and 3 of the 4 people are men, like freaking giant men. So I felt like a freaking battering ram. I'm like in there and I'm trying to get through and I'm pushing and, you know, like hipping and, you know, wiggling and, you know, trying to use my size to my advantage. I spent more times on the floor it was ridiculous. I started to get angry. I was getting really frustrated. I got down. I was like knocked down again eventually. And I was going, oh, for fuck's sake, this is ridiculous. Got up, started skating again. And I just kept going. I think I did end up getting around, but some of the hits that these guys were handing out were freaking massive. And the women actually, like they were really big hits. And I'm not used to that. Right? Been training in different levels of intensity, but not to that degree. So the thing that I was looking for at the end of that, I was being assessed. So there was a whole lot of pressure. I felt like I was really small. And I sat down at one point. There was in the bench, I sat down on the bench area, and then some of the seats at the back were for people who felt like they needed a rest. And so I've sat down over there, and I was throwing a tantrum inside my head, right? I was just like, fuck this is shit. I think I'm going to go to the toilet and hide in the toilet for the next 20 minutes until the half finishes. This is just, I'm crap at this. I'm no good. You know, there was all of this self-talk just brewing and well, not brewing actually. It was freaking boiling over. It was really terrible. And I was thinking about it. It's like, well, like, what would I be saying to me if I was the coach, or if I was the benchy, you know, if I was the bench coach, if I was the team manager, if I was whatever, and I saw someone, you know, going through what they were going through, what would I be saying to them? And so I actually called one of our bench coaches over and I said, look, this is how I'm feeling. She said, are you okay? And I'm like, no, I'm throwing a tantrum in my head. I told her everything that I was thinking, and she's like, okay, you've got this, you can do this, you wouldn't be here, I've seen you skate yesterday, you're fine, you know, get up and go. You know, you've got this. And then they put me up to jam again, and it was marginally better. And then I had another jam where I scored like 12 points, and I was so excited. And part of me is going, oh yeah, but, right? Oh yeah, but this happened and this happened, and you know, people were in the bin, and there was all of this other stuff going on. But it was, number one, it was a freaking rough game. Number two, it was my first full contact game, so there was that. And number three, you know, my head was massively unhelpful. So if we think about it in business, we can have those days, like my Saturday game was like you're flying high, like nothing can touch you, you're like queen of the fucking world, and it's awesome. And then on the next day, you can be facing challenges, and you can choose to be that person that, you know, rams up against that wall and doesn't freaking give up. Like the benchies said, you know, you were just so persistent, you just did not stop. Like I've not seen anything like it. You just didn't stop. And it's like, well, I didn't think I could. Like there was actually no choice. And I think that this is where some people think that, or with the first like hit against a wall where they might not succeed, they kind of just go in your heads, like in business, it's like, oh, this is fucking, it's just too hard. Or maybe it's like with doing Facebook Lives, and you might not have a massive audience watching you, and it's like, oh, screw it, just again, this is just too hard, I can't keep going. Or maybe you've tried selling a program and it's not working, or you've tried doing whatever and you get fucking exhausted and you get tired and you feel pummeled and you feel black and blue, and you're feeling like this tiny little human or this tiny little person compared to all of these other people who you believe are bigger and bolder and stronger and more agile and whatever, more solid, more certain, more experienced, more knowledgeable, more whatever. But you've got a choice to make in that moment. And this is kind of the choice that I had sitting on the bench. It's like, well, you know what? Am I gonna fucking quit? It's like, well, you know, no, that's actually not an option. So what am I going to do? Hey, Jody, what am I going to do? And hey, Ro, and how am I going to work my own head in order to number one, get back up. Number two, get back in the game. Because the truth of the matter was that I was really freaking scared. And why was I scared? And I think this is like the business metaphor here as well. Like we get so worried, and I was really worried about, number one, letting the team down. I was also really worried about looking like a fucking idiot, right? To be honest with you, I felt like I felt like I must have looked like this little flea that people were just going like, Flick, go away, Nicola. Go away, go away. You're not wanted here. This is silliness. And I know that sometimes in business, if we're looking at the competition, then it can be very much like, bleh. But here's the thing that was really great. At one point, in the first half of yesterday, there was one of the guys on our team, one of the gentlemen on our team, that we got buddied up, right? So he's like, you're my friend. Well, you're my friend. So if you need help, you reach out, and I'll help you. If you need, in this instance, you have little caps on to identify who people are. He said, you just hand it over to me and I've got you covered. Hey, Elise. So you've got that, and that was really helpful. So it's kind of like, you've got your bench coach, right? And then you've got your teamies. So in business and in work, you've got your peers. And if your peers are not, or your friends are not cheering you on, lifting you up, building you up, and, is kind of sticking out their hand and saying, hey, come on, like I'll whip you around, or, I'll create a space for you to come on through, or, I'll pimp out your stuff. I'll share your posts. If you haven't got people in your world to do that for you, then you need to find some people in your world to do that for you. It's also really important that you've got the people we've got our little, the people on the track, that's who I'm talking about here, right? And then you've also got your benchies who are we're going to call them the gurus, because that's what they should be there for. I'm going to give them two little crowns, because that's just what I'm going to do. So we've got the two people over here. These are like your mentors, right? You don't tell these people what you're afraid of or what your mindset's doing. You're just like, what, I've got your back. If you need help, I'm here. I've got you. I'll pull you around. I'll do what needs to be done. These people, you've got to have people like this on your team, on your side, in your, whatever other metaphor, in dugout, if we're using baseball, on your bench, whatever it is, in your support team, because these are the people that you're going to go, and this is literally one of my benches, name's Oreo, and Oreo, I said, Oreo, I've got to let you know, I'm having a tantrum. I'm feeling like I'm not good enough. I feel like I'm letting the whole team down. I feel like blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to tell these guys that. You tell these people that. So you've got to have people around you to help lift you up. And I also said, look, I need honest feedback. Don't blow hot air up my ass. I'm not interested in hot air. Just tell me what it is that I need to do and how I can do a better job. How can I improve from what you can see? Because in here, it was freaking messy. I've got to tell you, these men are freaking huge and they're hitting people all over the place. And it was so fast. They're going so fast around the track. And I'm just like, number one, how do I stay safe? Number two, how do I help out my team the most? Number three, how do I really improve? So you've got to have people like that around you and in your life and in your business. But here's the thing, and here's the biggest thing that I learned. All too often, because this is what happened for me yesterday, all too often we focus on the failures. We worry about what other people think. We stress about the things that we didn't do. Hey, Becca. And all of those things contribute to you having overwhelm, a messy head. It can contribute to tantrums, case in point yesterday, where it's just oh my God, this is insane. It was so overwhelming. I was so overwhelmed. And then you've got the choice. It's well, are you going to let that rule and are you going to walk away and go hide in the bathroom or quit or go hide under the covers or do whatever the business metaphor for you is, hide on your, lie on your office floor and whatever. It's okay to have a tantrum. In fact, I'd probably encourage it, because you've got to get that self-doubt. You've got to get that shit, essentially, out of your field, out of your head, out of your heart, out of your mouth, out of everything. You've got to get it out so that you can then regroup and go, okay, well, am I going to take this, for you, it might be going and doing a Facebook Live and maybe no one watches it. to start with. That's fine. You're going to take that you're going to take it personally, or are you going to get up and keep going, right? How many walls you're going to hit really is going to determine, how many times you're going to keep getting up, how many times you're going to keep getting up, because that wall will give way, something will happen, and you will find a hole and you will get through. It's just how it works, whether it's roller derby, whether it's business, whether it's training, whether it's anything, you will get through. But it takes persistence, and it takes you being freaking courageous. And I think this is a leading contributor to why 95% of businesses are not even in existence in 2 years, because they're not willing to keep getting back up. To get knocked down, you get back up. You get knocked down, you get pummeled by competitors, perceived competitors, or anything else. Are you going to let that rule the day, or are you going to make a different choice? So in the end, it was not the best I've played, but I was safe. I actually, no, it probably is. It's the best I've played, right? You've got to decide every day. It was the best that I possibly could have played yesterday without throwing myself in and potentially being injured, and stuff like that. So what do you choose to do? I think the other thing that we've got to remember, and this is the other thing from yesterday that was really uncomfortable for me, is I really like to know things, and I really like to be good at things, and I didn't feel like that yesterday. So it was a little bit like being the new kid on the block. When was the last time you were the new kid on the block? When was the last time you were not the best in the room? When was the last time that you were that green learner? And I think it's really important in one area of your life, let's say all the time, that you've got the ability to be able to experience that, because it really helps you to create empathy when you're talking to other people. It really helps you to go, oh yeah, that's how I felt like in this particular situation. So yeah. And that obviously helps to create connection, and that helps to create rapport, and that helps to create conversation, which is going to make so much more of your marketing, your branding, your content creation, your messaging. It's going to make everything so much more powerful, because it's going to enable you to, number one, share stories that will help people go, oh wow, she kind of gets it. It's been a long time since I started out in business, and really at the end of the day, it's like, well, you know what? It's been a long time since I've been a new kid on the business block, but I'm brand new to this competitive roller derby-ness, like high contact thing. And it's like, well, shit, this is just like starting out in business. It can feel like you're taking hit after hit after hit after hit and not even gaining an inch. So just keep pushing forward, keep getting back up. There's a great quote out of that Al Pacino. I'm going to find it because it's so freaking good. Al Pacino quote is, what was the quote? Oh, golly, hang with me. Okay, so any given Sunday. And he says, you find out that life is a game of inches, and so is football. Because in either game like life or football, the margin of error is so small. That's not the one that I wanted. That's really annoying. Hang on. Let me find the proper one. Oh, there we go. So on this team, we fight for that inch, because we know when we add up all of those inches, that's going to make the fucking difference between winning and losing, between living and dying. So you don't have to take over the world with social media tomorrow. You don't have to have your face being seen on every platform by every human, or have hundreds of thousands of followers. You just go an inch a day, an inch a second, an inch a minute, whatever. You just keep inching forward, because when they stack up, that's the thing that leads to success. So that's me for today. I'm going to love you and leave you. I have nothing to sell you yet. I will be sharing all of the news on that. I've got to formulate it. I've got it all sitting up in here and partially on paper. I'm really excited. It is going to be the best thing that I've done in quite some time. And it's a culmination of everything that I've been doing in the last 9 years to, you know, essentially be where I am today. So from the television appearances, from the book, confidence, doing videos, having hundreds and hundreds of videos. I think it must be in the thousands now, of videos available online. So, and share all of that with you as soon as it's done. I think it's going to be another couple of days before I've kind of like got it all sort of simmered and whatever, but I'm really freaking excited about it. So I can't wait to share that with you. Meanwhile, just keep inching forward, because remember, when we add up all of those inches, that's the thing that's going to make the fucking difference. Thank you, Al Pacino. Thanks to you guys. I love you. Mwah. Thanks for hanging out, and I will chat with you guys tomorrow.